If you're a consultant, especially in the corporate spaces, we need to have a conversation about the way we're showing up online. Also, we need to talk about last week's episode or last week's live stream because, to put it lightly, it was a masterclass on what not to do with your live stream. All that and more on today's episode of the Clarity Live Show. Okay, welcome to today's episode. Oh, look, I'm already stuttering at the beginning. Welcome to today's episode of the Clarity live stream. Excited to be here today. It's the first ever episode. As you can tell, I'm still learning the ropes here. But it's 8:30. Well, I'm about 10 minutes late to the party. Forgive me. We're trying to figure out how things run around here. And the idea is to show up at 8:30 every Friday, West African time, by the way, 8:30 a.m. Um, yeah, so without further ado, let me just jump into it. I was thinking about today's live stream and what I was going to talk about. And, I had a couple of conversations with different consultants this week, and it got me thinking about the way consultants typically show up online, especially in corporate spaces. And I think consultants are just the people I'm talking to in this particular scenario, but I think we can also extrapolate to the corporate world as a whole. And is this idea of the way we show up online. Typically there is a cycle that happens, and I am just breaking out of this cycle. So the cycle is, I'm very busy with work, so I don't give, my content or showing up online any attention. And then work dries up. Now I'm scrambling for how to get more work. And then that's when I now think about, oh, okay, I can actually go online and maybe post on social media, whatever it is, with the hopes of getting clients. But the thing is, at that point, you need clients right now. You need clients yesterday, right? But the thing is, it takes a little while to get people to pay attention to you. So attention is something you should be building in the background, regardless of what you're doing. And then we do it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks for that matter, and we figure out, okay, this is not going anywhere, and then we do whatever else we need to do. Some people might even go as far as doing, like, a paid ad or something like that, which is fine as well. It works. But the thing is, with paid ads, all you're paying for is for the tech, system to push whatever content it is you create that you want to present to people, to push it, to more people. But that doesn't guarantee anything. The only thing it guarantees is that more people will see your stuff. Yes, you can talk about targeting and all of this, and paid ads do work. I'm not here to like wash paid ads for any reason. But my point is that the fact that you do it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. At least it doesn't mean it's going to work in the immediate. It just shows more people that you're here and you're offering whatever it is you're offering, right? Um, and that's the issue we run into. And then you're like, okay, what do we do here? And there are many ways people do it. So if you've been doing good work in the past, it's easy for you to just pick up the phone, call past customers and ask them, okay, can you give me some referrals, or can you make an introduction here, and things like that. And that works. And that's what most people usually revert to, right? And I guess that's another way of saying that, doing good work is a very good marketing strategy, right? It's about the most potent marketing strategy out there, because if you do good work, people will talk about you. If you do good work, you can have a good relationship with people to the point where you can ask them to talk about you, or to ask to introduce you to someone. Um, so we need to do something about that. So the whole idea here is that, yeah, I was meant to show this while I was talking about all that. So we need to have a conversation about the way we show up online as consultants. And the reason I think we don't do that is, attention, I think, is an incredibly undervalued um, asset in corporate spaces. We don't value it until the point where we need it, right? Um, so, and it baffles me sometimes, because in corporate organizations, especially the larger ones, the ones that have deeper pockets, often pay a lot of money for influencer marketing. They pay a lot of money for, TV ads and, newspapers and all this other stuff, right? Which again is fine, is needed, it works, but is, at least from the outside looking in, it seems like we don't pay enough, we don't put enough, or we don't invest enough into building a machine that belongs to us. I'm talking about us as the corporate entity now, that belongs to the corporate entity, that its sole purpose is to capture attention. I think in 2025, every business should have a machine whose sole purpose is to capture attention. So this is your social media, this is your YouTube channel, whatever it is. And some people will reply me and say, but I do have all of that, but it's not doing anything for me. Then I would say, okay, what is the approach you're taking towards all those things? Because um, I look at a lot of social media channels for corporate spaces, social media channels for even like consultants in general. I keep saying corporate people, meanwhile I'm talking to consultants, but just, it's kind of interchangeable in this case. But what we post, it seems like the point I'm trying to make is there's room for improvement in what we post, because what we post a lot of the time is just a reflection of what we know and what we do. And I guess that's fine, but it needs to be one of the most important concepts I've learned recently is the idea of packaging content. So it's one thing to have something valuable to say to someone, but it's another thing to package it in a way that they're willing to listen, they're willing to pay attention throughout the period you're talking to them. Um, but I don't see enough attention being put into the way it's packaged. So when I say it's undervalued, that's what I mean. You need to invest in enough to package your content in a way that people will be interested in it. Um, Case in point, I was doing some research for a financial institution not too long ago, and I was looking at different financial institutions' YouTube channels, and man, the best way to describe it is it's essentially like a corporate dumping ground. I think I heard somebody make that statement one time. A corporate dumping ground. So you see, and you know, I can see the attempt to put content out there. So you can see different, so, you know, essentially a Zoom call that was recorded and uploaded to YouTube. And then that's probably living beside some ad, 2 minutes ad on one of their products. And that's probably living beside some, women empowerment thing that they created and put online. All good content, but not packaged well enough in the way that people will be interested. So you see large organizations, large multinationals, and they're getting 50 views and 100 views on YouTube and all of that. And these are not recent videos. These are videos that have been on the platform for a year, 2 years, and all of that. So the question is, why are people not interested in watching those things? Nobody cares about your ad. Nobody goes on YouTube like, let me go and watch an ad on this particular organization's product and whatnot. Nobody cares about that. We need to figure out, we need to pay more attention to the people we're trying to reach. I think that's what it comes down to. So we're trying to build a machine that attracts attention. But the first thing we need to figure out is whose attention are we trying to get? How can we package whatever we're packaging in a way that it will attract their attention and hold their attention for a while? Because attention is a very funny thing. It's like one of these SIM pins. I have one here. These pins that you use to open your SIM tray. I don't know if you can see that. You use it to open your SIM tray. You don't need it every day. You don't need it every week. You don't need it every month. You probably don't need it every year. But when you do need it, it's an important event because maybe you got a new phone, you want to transfer your contacts, your SIM and your contacts into the new phone, or something is wrong with your phone or your SIM and you want to change your SIM and all of that. It's an important part of your life. Your SIM card is an important part of your life. But at the time you need it, if you haven't kept it properly, then you'll be scrambling around to find who has a pin. And these things are not things that people carry around. So if you're not around somebody that has it, you're screwed, essentially. The same thing with attention. By the time we need the attention, that's not when we should start trying to capture attention. You should be capturing attention in the background so that when you need that attention, is there on demand. So attention is an undervalued asset that every business must have, no matter what size you are. So if it's not enough to just have a social media account or a social media following, or whatever it is you're doing online. If you're not getting if people are not paying attention to what you're saying, then we need to figure out a way to repackage or repurpose or review our approach to showing up online, so that because a lot of people know that social media is important. A lot of people know that an online presence is important, but not many people know why it's important. Not many people understand it to the point of understanding how to approach it, right? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. We as consultants and consultants especially, we're very similar to teachers. We deal in information. We provide information to a kind of person to help them solve a kind of problem. So consultants especially don't have the excuse of I don't know what to post about, because you deal with information all the time. You're researching for someone, you're putting a strategy for someone, you're putting a plan together for someone, you're listening to people's problems, all those things. You have all the essential ingredients to show up online and be valuable, right? So I think the missing piece for consultants is just figuring out how to package your content, how to package yourself online so that you're able to hold people's attention. I hope that makes sense. So if there's something you want to do, if you want to improve your online presence, if you want to be able to capture people's attention and come up with a plan to capture people's attention while you do whatever it is you do, this is what will help you do at the private lab. um, the private lab is a part of Clarity Lab. We help people and businesses come up with strategies for building their brand online through content. Um, and we use a framework I call CROP, which is Clarity Required for Online Presence. And the framework essentially helps you to define who you're trying to target, the impact you want to have on them, the relationship you want to build with them, and how you're going to build the relationship with them, and finally how you're going to leverage that relationship for your own personal benefit. What you're seeing on the screen now is one of the worksheets from the Clarity Lab, the private lab. Sorry, Clarity Lab is the name of the company. Private Lab is the one-on-one private strategy session. So this kind of talks about the transformation, so the impacts we want to have on them. It helps. This particular one, there are a couple of activities that would have taken place before this, and then on this particular sheet, we essentially spell out the exact transformation we're going to be creating for the people we're trying to create it for, that kind of thing. So you can see here, it says, this is kind of like the structure. I help particular person go from this particular place, maybe a status quo, whatever it is, to a desired future by helping them, do whatever it is you're going to do through whatever means you're going to use to achieve that thing. So this is one of many worksheets. And the private lab is a 90-minute session. So in 90 minutes, we go from not understanding what you're going to do with your personal brand, with being clear with the big picture, and also being clear on the first few steps you need to take to start making changes to the way you show up online. So if that's something you want to do, check the link in the description. It's the privatelab.ng. I keep saying the private lab, claritylab.ng/private lab, to learn a bit more. The link is in the description. Yeah, so having said that, last week's stream, as you can tell from this stream, I'm still trying to I'm still kind of learning the ropes with showing up live and all of that. This is vastly different from producing a video, which I think I'm decent at. Last week I prepared for a live stream the way I would prepare for a video, and that didn't go well at all. I was riffing off the top of my head. My thoughts were disjointed and all of that. Still a little bit in this stream as well, but I think I'm a bit more put together. I'll be honest. Now I haven't even watched back that live stream because I am still a little bit weirded out just thinking about it. I don't know what to expect, but I still intend to do that. But I needed to do that to just break the ice, to start somewhere. And I guess this is why it's important to start at the bottom, because at least your flops will not be in the public eye like that. I'm still going to I'm still going to leave up the video, by the way, because I want to. The whole reason I'm doing all these things, I'm doing this live show, and I'm showing up online with a little bit more effort put into it, so to speak, which by the way is the point I was trying to make at the first part of the stream, which is we need to put a bit more effort into trying to connect with the public, you know. But the reason why I'm doing all of this is that as somebody who helps people with their personal brand, I want to go through all these steps. So when I tell you start a live show, I'm not going to tell everybody to start a live show, by the way. I'm just saying, if I tell you as a client, start a live show and you're nervous and you're worried it will flop, I can easily stand and say, check my first ever live stream. This is what happened. These are the things. So what I intend to do with my personal brand is try a lot of things, fail in public, share those failures as well as the successes. So I don't want you to just see me as, um, oh yeah, the guy knows his stuff, you know, the guy's very good and you know he's successful and he has done millions and millions for clients and blah 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 blah. That's nice. That's nice. It's a good selling point. But I also want to be able to show you where, you know, I flopped here, I made a mistake there, I could have done better there and all of that. So that's what I'm trying to do with my brand. So yeah, man, that was a masterclass on that live stream was a masterclass on what not to do. A lot of work still needs to go into this live show. I was incredibly nervous at the beginning of this stuff, to be honest with you. It's not easy. And so one of the things is about content creation is I keep saying it is about the most multidisciplinary thing you will ever do. I don't care what you do currently. Creating content is the most multidisciplinary thing you ever do. I had to research for this. I had to do some writing just so I can gather my thoughts together. I had to do sound design so I could come up with the title sequence for this video. Designers, graphic designers, animators will look at that and say, that is disgusting. You need to improve on that. I know, but I needed to start with something. So there you have it, right? You know, so but yeah, I hope my failures as well as my successes are like a teaching points to people. And yeah, it's an incredible journey. It's an incredible journey, and I hope to keep improving. Again, my mantra is do something better every time. This live stream is already miles better than last live stream. I'm trying to get to a point where I'm relaxed enough during the stream to be able to gather my thoughts properly and really articulate. I think I'm still a little bit shaky around the edges, but you know, that's enough. That's enough of me talking about you know how bad I'm doing. And then lastly, I intend to do a shout out to one brand every episode, either a brand or something I find interesting out there. I didn't prepare adequately for this one, so I'm just going to shout out Slash Cakes and Bakes. They make incredible cakes for any occasion, you know, birthday cakes for children, birthday cake for adults, even if you just want a cake to have with some tea. Slash Cakes and Bakes, you can check them out on Instagram. I think Instagram is where they are primarily, and I think the prices are pretty reasonable too. It's like reasonable. So if you're in Lagos, if you're ever in Lagos, Nigeria, and you want to have some delicate, no, decadent, that's the word, decadent cakes, check out Last Cakes and Bakes. That's enough of my waffling. I hope somebody gets some value from this live stream. I think that's a good place to end it. Thanks a lot for listening to me. If you're watching this after the live stream, thank you for powering through. This is why I made it a very short live stream, so that you know I can start very small and people don't have to. I don't have to hold your attention for too long while I waffle like this. So yeah, until next week Friday, have a good one. Have a lovely weekend. See you next time. Peace.